Hello guys, glad to have you on board again. Today we are going to take care of some intraday purposes, but right before we get into this, I've totally forgot to mention that yesterday and I should have done that. So I'm taking some vacations as well, starting this Thursday, so there will be no podcast after tomorrow's, and obviously tomorrow we're gonna change the schedule. Instead of doing the usual educational content stuff, I'd rather like to make some swing global trading scenarios reviews, for a simple reason, because that's probably going to be the week of vacation that I'm going to take 100% off the grid. Not necessarily off the grid, obviously I'm gonna have some internet connection. Like every fucking trader, I'm gonna still have a look at the market. It's just that I'm not gonna take the laptop, and which means I'll hardly be able to handle the subscriptions and things like that. So everything will be turned off starting tomorrow evening. I think I'll just cut the subscriptions. So if you absolutely want to subscribe in the next following days, I suggest you do before I cut it off. Otherwise, they will be resumed right at my coming back. So don't worry, just be patient. And I would say if you want to trigger a trial, your weekly trial, just wait for me to get back in here rather than triggering it when I'm off on vacations. So that's the reason why. So I'm cutting this off. I'm not going to be able to answer the emails as well. I'll eventually be able to answer Discord's messages, but from the cell phone, so it's going to be pretty shitty to answer message typing on a cell phone. So I don't guarantee I'll do this. I'll still try to follow the major scenarios with you, meaning like if I take any actions on the scenarios I'll detail you tomorrow morning, then eventually I'll go into Discord and tell you, alright, I just triggered my entry on this or my profit taking on that and whatever, alright? So that's tomorrow's topic. Obviously I'm taking a week, so I'm going back on the following Thursday, and I'll be off on the Friday as well for other reasons. So I'll be back though the next Monday, obviously, but I'll be there during the weekend to start figuring out the messages and stuff like that. Right? So don't mind me if you have some question and see some delays to get your answers. Anyway, let's get into the usual intraday job. Regarding cryptocurrencies, it's still a big fucking mess. Nothing that we can actually do and deal with in here. All I would say, we're still below this, or beyond this 4-hour range target that is now matured, as we're more than we're approximately 40 bars in. So if the market decides to go lower, it can go. I mean, this range boundary doesn't nearly block us anymore, but still I tend to believe that another set of bullishness might be down the corner just to trigger this opposite signal. Like not necessarily crazy bullish, but like getting in here, and depending how bullish that is, I think first option is we die between this top and this one, like finding a strong resistance in here in the mid part of this structure. Well, option number two, we go straight to the opposite line in here in a straight kind of movement, very attractive, but obviously you know what to do with this. If you're bearish with bitcoins, this is where you want to sell, right? Like those who have a bearish bias, they would have sold in here, they'll sell again in there, and they'll target a bearish breakdown of the triangle, right? That's simple as that. Just pick a fucking side. It doesn't really matter if you're going to be right or wrong. Alright, and obviously bullish bias is quite the opposite. Where I profit took as a bear, you would have entered bullish, you will support prices right now, and you'll hope for a bullish breakout of the triangle, obviously. That's as simple as that if the triangle gets to build. We're working this area, so if the bulls are supporting enough, then we'll have it. If the bulls are not supporting enough, then the bears will probably take it over and build some kind of structure like that with two bearish impulses and two consolidative wave in between. So that's exactly what we could have, and in that perspective I still see this 7.2 cluster, but I still cannot find a fucking demand in this area. So that's really tough to me to figure out that we're gonna get there, because I would like to see some pending orders there, and I still don't see any, or at least not that big of a demand. The big demand still stands in here at the 8.5 at the gap closing area. Regarding intraday, let's take a look at the S&P 500 and see what we have. So we're going to do SPX daily first, having a look at the caching structure. So absolutely no gaps as, oh yes, bullish gap yesterday, closing at the highs, yes, but having a look at the previous candles just kind of rings a bell because we barely closed at 50% of the previous day, so it's still pretty significantly bearish tainted. I'm still thinking that if we can retrace, it's not gonna be to go higher, it's just gonna be like trying to, and even if we manage to go higher today, I think it's just gonna be an upper shadow candle. So pretty much you can take this one and say we're probably gonna mirror this candle today, in which I think we can hardly manage not to retest yesterday open at 28.67. We can try to go a little bit higher to 28.95 or something like that, but we're very likely just gonna die in here, and the best case scenario in here is just for us to save some time. I see absolutely no good news. I mean, yesterday was just the craziest fucking day I've ever seen. Trump starting to just with a big massive fucking lie, like getting in here and saying China has just called twice to talk with the US administration, and President Xi Jinping is a beautiful guy, smart guy, just calling him a fucking thief or something like that the day before. So it's just like, oh my god, what the hell is wrong with this guy? It's just totally crazy. Anyway, so the problem is it's a pure big lie, because just minutes later the Chinese officials, not Chinese official, but somebody close enough to Chinese officials, said, what the fuck? Nothing like that happened, at least nothing that I heard of. So it feels like, oh my god, Trump is just making things entirely to manipulate the market. He doesn't know what the fuck to do, so he's going to say, all right, what does the market need to rise? We could ease the tensions with China. All right, let's say they called. Did they call? No, but who gives a shit? I mean, they don't even fact check what I say. They all know it's bullshit, but anyway, the algorithms are paying, and that's all we pay for. That's all we care about. The market moving up. Even if it's for the stupidest reasons, we have to go up. So, like I said, it's pretty fucking dangerous, because you fool people pricing in absolute lies, which means if things end up worse, don't come cry to me. So yesterday's rebounds, even though if it was pretty much anticipated, I think it's just another selling opportunity. I've been looking at selling entries yesterday, and I took one. We're going to describe that later on. Alright, so 1 hour chart, SPX, we need our context. So like we said, no gaps, so we're just free to move every direction today. The thing is that we just need a fucking 1 hour context. It's pretty goddamn easy. Just delete the price, you'll easily figure out what the hell this kind of context is. To me, there's absolutely no doubt regarding what that is. It's pure and simply range, 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 range. All those targets are never filled, but this one, who's been giving us a bearish orientation in the range, which means the market tried to do something like that, all right, and he has failed. It has failed. No triangle, so we've got below in here. I think we're just pulled backing right now, and I think the next move is probably bearish in this range, as it's at least right now it's bearish tainted. No matter you like it, no matter if you like it or not, we're holding the bearish context, and we're breaking below the support context, which means very likely going to be even more bearish afterwards. It's just, all right, we're digesting the range, but anytime we get to retrace to this trend channel, I think is a selling opportunity. Like selling this, trying to resist, trying to bring in here to prepare for the breakdown. Remember that the breakdown is support context, trend channel, support context, and candle accelerating to the downside. So that's exactly the plan we have right now. We do have a bearish moving average. We do come from a bearish major movement, so very likely going to exit bearish in here. We're already bearish tainted, so the range is mature. First boundary, second, third, fourth, fifth, so we're ready to go. All right, we just need the accumulation and the breakdown. So I'm sorry, some people may be bullish with the US. I totally agree with you, and then in that perspective you're going to buy in here, hope for a context texting, bullish accumulation, and bullish breakout. I'll totally agree with that, but you're not, this is not your time. All right, like this is the bear's time right now. So if you're bullish, then you supported those price and you're simply waiting for you to break up. All right. But so far, for now, odds are pretty much in a bearish favor. But I agree with the bull, all right? If you're bullish, then stick to it. It's just wait for the appropriate timing to proceed. Now let's put the price back in the game. That's exactly suggesting what we do. This area is resisting. It's a selling entry, and that's exactly what I sold yesterday. I got it right at the top or close to it yesterday. My stop was set to 229.04. I tried to get a reinforcement in this area, didn't got it. Though the thing is that I was ready to lower the stop loss, and right at the candle close I decided to put it back to 29.04. So far it's been holding, and I think I'm fine, and I definitely don't think we're going to go 29.04. 29.04 will bring us back to the resistance context, which to me not going to happen. So I think in here bearishness, pulling back to the support, and then we'll see if we can have the fucking breakdown. If we can, then don't worry, we can accumulate for quite some time. All right, that doesn't mean we're gonna go straight line right now because we've done context, trend channel context. All right, that doesn't mean in here is a mandatory breakdown. It just means now we're probably accumulating as the trend channel is being sold instead of the context. All right, when the range is mature and instead of getting context we're getting trend channels rejections, means the bears are slowly trying to take over control. Simple as that. At least call that differently. The bulls are losing strength. All right, that's simple as that. So how to deal with this in an intraday perspective? To me, it's really simple. I would call it that way. That's what I just done for the French guys. All right, as long as you don't know anything, just put the goddamn fucking range, and that's exactly what we see in here. It's simple. All right, like we've got our big range. I think this one is mature, so we don't need to deal with it anymore. But that's it. All right, you can see, delete the price. If you can hardly figure out this context, just do it smart. Just have a look at the context boxes. They're pretty flat, so this is a flat range structure. It just lacks of range signals. We just got a breakout attempt in here, so I would say probably today, guess what's going to happen? We're going to build the opposite range boundary, so I very likely expect us to reach out to potentially either the blue area or to build some cross signals or whatever, or square signals, but I expect something to happen in this area today. So I would say this is the cluster to get to today, as we probably worked out the resistance yesterday. Today is probably just about getting in here. Pretty different manners to go there. It's a range, so we know, you know, that we're probably going to spend quite some fucking time making some noise and jitters in here to get there where the interesting price area is. Right, so this is where you get to trade today. I would say selling, got damage, sorry. I would say trying to sell anything that pulls back in this area today, trying to profit take in here. Just please forget about the dumb area. Like this is the area where most people will figure out triangles, whatever. Just don't trade in here. Trade below 28.40. Try to sell on top of 28.70 and try to pick up the price as close as possible to the 28.30. And if you get to dip below, then don't forget to profit take in here, like mandatory profit taking in here for the intraday traders. You can spare some of those trades to accumulate on the bearish swing perspective, but you absolutely need to secure them and pay the stop losses at this price. Like pay your stop loss for at least 29.20 or something like that, and try to accumulate on the bear side if you have some bearish perspective in the swing trades. All right, if you have bullish perspective in this market, then you do nothing today but just waiting to get into this red triangle. You try to buy prices in this area with 15-minute signals. Hopefully you wait for the context to catch up in here. If it doesn't, then you do nothing, but you need context support in this area, and you can buy with a 15-minute signal. All right, remember that the momentum is bearish, though in here we have an open door to break all the resistances in this range and pull us back to the major supports. All right, so to me that's as simple as that. We're in an area in which it's still possible to sell today. not right now. Remember, you always need to sell at the top of the trend channel, so you need prices to retrace at least 50% of this trend channel if you want to sell today. That's exactly how you need to process those informations. To me, it's simple as that. I can hardly stress enough that we're trading ranges, so be patient. Don't think you're gonna be provided with a gain 5 minutes later. These gains can take all fucking day to get processed, can even be done overnight or whatever. All right, it's just, I think by tomorrow we'll probably get there. So until today and tomorrow, say, let's call that a 48 hours window in prices, in time to get to this target, and that's the only trade I can figure out. All right. Until then, see you tomorrow, guys, for a broader vision of the markets and all the scenarios I'll have a look at during my vacation time.